Hey everyone, on Saturday the 29th of June 2024, Cloudflare randomly took $235 out of my bank account with no warning. Well, it wasn't really random, I guess, because I did sign up to a paid Cloudflare service just over a year ago. But I'd no prior notice of this upcoming payment, and Cloudflare support made clear that this is an intentional strategy by Cloudflare. They told me that Cloudflare's CDN plans always renew automatically without any sort of renewal notification, and that Cloudflare are not responsible for their customers keeping track of subscription deadlines. While I kinda get that, what concerns me is that publicly Cloudflare are trying to claim that everything went to plan, with the CEO telling me on Twitter that I was charged according to the invoice. The problem, as I pointed out to Matthew Prince, was that this invoice was only sent to me after my bank account was charged. The first thing I actually knew about this charge was when I was out with my family on a weekend, and I had a notification on my phone from my bank that Cloudflare had taken a $235 payment. Now, I should say that ultimately I took out a yearly pro plan with Cloudflare, and according to their self-service subscription agreement, I am entirely responsible for keeping track of when this renews. Equally, this agreement says that Cloudflare will provide no refunds, even if I cancel on the first day of a 365-day subscription. They do not generally give a prorated refund or anything like that. They would keep the whole year's fee. Now, I'm aware that I failed to properly keep track of the renewal date. For some reason, I thought that this subscription was due to renew in August. I was wrong. So Cloudflare won here. I was technically in the wrong, and Cloudflare were technically in the right. But the reason I'm doing this video, other than the fact that that's not really a consumer-friendly approach, is that I've always been a big fan of Cloudflare. Their technology makes the internet a faster and safer place, so kudos to them, seriously. Some of the technology they provide is amazing. But recently it feels to me like some of Cloudflare's approaches are shifting away from what made them a popular, successful company in the early days. For example, at the start of this year, Cloudflare were criticised for firing a member of staff in a way that their CEO later described as painful to watch and not being humane enough. And while letting staff go will unfortunately happen at any company, but especially one with thousands of staff, it is good that at least Cloudflare and the CEO owned up to their shortcomings here. However, a couple of months ago, Cloudflare again came under fire for telling a $250 per month customer that they now needed to immediately pay $120,000, otherwise all the sites would be removed from Cloudflare. Now, I do get there's two sides to every story, and in many cases Cloudflare are legally prevented from publicly discussing their side due to data protection laws. So Cloudflare will often inevitably come across as the bad guy in these cases with no right to defend themselves. But in my own experience with this $235 charge, Cloudflare just seemed like a low-quality, anti-consumer company to me. For example, after receiving the charge, I raised a support ticket and also tweeted the CEO on Twitter. And as I mentioned earlier, Matthew Prince seemed to suggest that I was invoiced and clearly aware of this upcoming payment before being charged. That was not the case. In the support ticket itself, the first reply was from a manager who repeated the CEO's line, effectively saying I was charged in line with the invoice. They did, however, say that they would give me a refund, which I really appreciated. Although I also continued to point out that the invoice came after the bank charge. They, however, didn't issue me the promised refund, and instead one of Cloudflare's developers stepped in to explain that Cloudflare definitely do notify people about upcoming subscription payments and things like that. And they said they'll investigate what happened with me not receiving this email. They later confirmed that no such emails were sent for some unknown reason. However, the following day, someone in Cloudflare's billing team came along and contradicted them, and saying that this was actually expected behaviour, saying that Cloudflare's policies shift the responsibility of keeping track of deadlines onto the customer. Which again, I get. It doesn't seem like a consumer-friendly approach to me, but legally they were in the right and I was in the wrong. I get that. Anywho, this staff member was the third person who promised me a refund. I did exactly what they asked for, but I never heard back. So I chased them, and a fourth member of staff stepped in. They made clear, again, that Cloudflare were not responsible for being aware of renewal deadlines and that they do not send renewal notifications. Again, I was wrong not to keep track of this better. They did, however, issue me the refund, which I really appreciate, and is something that the previous 3 staff members failed to follow through on, so that's good at least, but it wasn't really a great support experience with so many different members of staff jumping in and contradicting each other. And while I do appreciate the refund, that's mainly because what I've seen of Cloudflare means that I don't want to be their customer anymore. They seem quite chaotic and disorganized to me, if I'm being completely honest. With 2 staff members, including their own CEO, effectively saying we charged you according to the invoice, but then they freely admit that this invoice came later after I was actually charged. And also 3 members of staff, including the CEO, promising me a refund, but then not actually following through with this, requiring me to chase again and again, and then ultimately deal with a fourth member of staff and billing who then did give me a refund. I've used dozens of hosting companies over the last 2 decades, and every single one has sent renewal reminders every single time. Every single one, other than Cloudflare, I should say. I personally find it terrible that Cloudflare doesn't do this, but what about you? Am I in the wrong? Am I just ranting unnecessarily? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the thumbs up button and please subscribe to see more tech videos like this. Thanks for watching.